Carla, and welcome back to the studio. And bear with me for one moment while I get things situated on my laptop here and make sure everything looks good and make sure we're kind of level here. And of course, the people that live above me decide to vacuum. Well, they've only been up there for a few hours now, and they wait till late at night. Yeah, okay. So, hello everybody, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. So, for this Throwback Thursday, I am using the Sweet Jar bundle. The Sweet Jar bundle, let me just make sure that I give you correct information. I do know that the Sweet Jar stamp set, this was on the last chance, and the stamp set is now gone. But the Sweet Jar Builder Punch, this did not go on last chance, and this is still available. Um, as far as like I said, the stamp set, it is now retired. Hmm, very interesting. They still show the Sweet Jar bundle, however, the stamp set is no longer available. Usually, once one of the items in a bundle is gone, then the bundle's no longer available. The bundle would be retired. But for some reason, it's still sitting out there. So right now, it's just a Sweet Jar Builder Punch that's available. Stamp set is now gone. So this came out a few months ago. It was last year in the online exclusives. Um, I think around the same time or just after it, there was another stamp set called Jar of Joy, I believe, that had coordinated with this punch as well. That one is gone as well. So what's nice about this stamp set, you have a couple of celebrations in here that you can do. You can do what looks like candy, or these can become like chocolate chip cookies using this dotted image here over the top of this. And then this particular solid piece here for inside the jar, you can use this with both the hearts and with the shamrocks. And then you have some candles here that you can put in there. And then you have some greetings with a mixed font. There's a happy birthday, miss you bunches, a little treat for you. And then there's this one stamp here that says sending a little, and then there's a space underneath it, and then right under that says your joy. So you could do sending a little sweetness your way, sending a little love your way, sending a little luck your way, or sending a little party your way. So you can put in whatever it is that you want within that greeting. So we're actually going to use this for both of our cards today. So again, everything is, sorry about that, that was kind of loud. The projects that I'm going to do are going to be geared on upcoming holidays. So I will be doing both Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day. So let me pull out some stamps that we're going to be using. Since it's a punch, I haven't done any punching ahead of time on these projects. The second project that I'm doing does have a die cut, which I did die cut that already. But what's nice about this is photopolymer, so I can see exactly where I'm stamping. And so right now I'm going to pull out the stuff for the Valentines, and I got some hearts, and we got love, and sending a little, think that's all the pieces that we need. All right, so let me get some blocks here. I want to make sure that my jar is not sticking and will be off a bit. Did I ever clean this? I don't know. Looks like I didn't. Let's see. For our grading. And let's get our filler, our hearts, and then we got our two little ones right here. Love. And our hearts. Okay, so let me move these out of the way. And let me bring up my dimensions really quick. A little bit bigger. Okay. So let me, come on. Why is this? Okay. All right. Let me bring in my pieces. Let's get started on this. I feel like I'm all over the place. Okay, so this is going to be our Valentine themed card using this bundle. So for my card base, I have a piece of Poppy Parade that measures 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. I have a piece of basic white that measures 5 by 3.75. I have a piece of the 2025 to 2026 in color 6 by 6 designer series paper. This measures 4.75 by 3.5. I then have a piece of basic white that measures 4.75 by 1.75. And then I have another piece of that 2025 to 2026 in color 6 by 6 designer series paper that measures 4.75 by 1.5. These colors here, this is the strawberry slush color. Then I have a scrap of basic white to do my stamping and my punching of the two jars for this project. And then I have a scrap piece of some silver foil. So I'm going to start with folding and burnishing my card base. And I'm going to tell you that I am not going to use my stamp and seal on this project. You know, typically it would make it go a little bit quicker, but I have a fussy, very fussy refill in it that, yeah, it was a struggle using it when I was trying to get stuff done, and yeah, we're not fighting with it in this video. Okay, so my designer series paper, no, put it down, we're not using it. Almost picked it up to use it after I said I wasn't. I'm going to use my liquid glue instead. Okay, and then we're going to place this right in the center. I'm using the right, yeah, I'm using the right one. Okay, then I'm going to take this and I'm going to adhere it to my card base. Get that right in the center, like so. Okay, I'm going to take that, put that aside for a moment. Then I'm going to take my other piece of designer series paper. Add glue to this. And then I'm going to, it's going to go from end to end on this piece of basic white. And then there's a small border on the top and the bottom. See a little bit of glue oozed out. All right. So then I'm going to set that aside, and then we have our scrap piece of basic white. I am going to bring in the jar, and the colors of ink I'm going to use in this is Poppy Parade and Strawberry Slush, along with some Memento Tuxedo black ink. So the jar, I'm going to stamp 2 of these in my black. And let me get my Pierce mat for this. Being that it's photopolymer, I want to get a good stamped image. Okay, and I'm going to stamp this down here. And we'll stamp it again. Okay. And then, let's see, what do I want next? I'm going to do my Poppy Parade. And I'm going to do these cluster of hearts here. So on the bottom, you see it's kind of flat, so that's going to line up with the bottom of our jar. So let me ink this up, and I just stuck my finger in the ink. Good job. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, so like I said, the bottom of the image is going to line up like so. I'll stamp it again. Okay, and then let's bring in our Strawberry Slush. I'm going to clean that stamp. Either way, my stamps are going to be stained with the red ink. But if I clean it right away, the staining's minimal. Okay, and then there is this filler stamp here that I just line up with these hearts on the bottom here and the bottom of my jar, and it just kind of fills in behind those hearts. All right, come down here. Stamp that there. And then we'll stamp it again, like so. And let's see, we'll close this up. And let's clean these stamps really quick. Squeaky chamois. And I got ink on my block. Let me get that off. Okay. All right, so let me get my punch. And I'm going to punch these out. So, I'm not going to keep the jar topper because I want to punch those out in some silver foil. Okay. Move that out of the way. And then for the topper, I'm going to bring in my silver foil. And I'm going to punch out 2 of those. Okay, so that's all we need for the punching on this particular card. All right, so now I'm going to take my silicone craft sheet and some of my liquid glue, and I'm going to add a little bit right along the black stamped line on the top here. Grab one of my, and I'm leaving smudges. Somehow I got adhesive or something on my finger, and now I've gotten it all over my foil. Okay, and place that there. Make sure that we are straight. Okay, and then I'm going to press that down. Okay, and then I'm going to take some dimensionals. And I'm going to put 2 up the top here to kind of reinforce the jar to that lid. And then we'll take 3 more. Okay, we'll set that aside. Let's put the topper on this one. It's supposed to stick down, don't pick it up. Okay. All right, so on this one, I'm going to do, let's see, we're not going to put our things on there quite yet because I'm going to have one overlap the other. So I'm going to then take my jars and I'm going to just kind of like place this where I want it. Well, no, I know how I want to do this. I want to take my Poppy Parade and bring this in. Okay, so over here on this right side, I'm going to take my little cluster of hearts and my Poppy Parade ink, and I'm going to stamp these right up here. And then I'm going to close this. Well, no, we'll leave that open. I want my greeting that says sending a little your way. And I'm going to stamp that in black. And I'm going to stamp that, let's see, right about here. Okay, that's straight. Top a little bit. Okay, and then my little script love, I'm going to ink that up in Poppy Parade. Let me bring this down a little bit. And I'm going to stamp that right in the middle right there. So we got 2 different colors on our little greeting there. Close these all up. We clean up these stamps because we know things with red ink on it. We know what happens. We end up with red ink all over everything. Okay, I think that's everything. All right. Now, I'm going to take my card. I'm going to take this greeting panel here. Add some glue to the back. And we're going to line this up with our designer series paper, so it's not really going to be in the middle. I'm kind of coming down a little bit with it. Okay, press that down. Okay, so I'm going to take my one jar that I got all my dimensionals on. And I'm going to place this right up here like so at an angle. And then my other jar is going to kind of come down here. Now I don't want to put any dimensionals on the back over on this side, but I am going to take one, we'll add it here, one here, and I think one right down here. I'll place this one right over here like so. Okay, and then for my embellishments on this, these are the loose Valentine's assortment. These are part of the Made with Love suite. I had just used this suite on my Friday Night Live last week. So here you got, these are kind of like, they're fairly thin. They're almost like almost like a rubber type of texture. You have like some strawberry slush hearts, white hearts, bubble bath hearts. You have little envelopes with little tiny red hearts on them. And then there's some of these little shaker bits that, to me, what this really looks like, it looks like sprinkles. But don't eat them. They're not meant for consumption. So I am going to dump a few into my lid because what I want are the white ones. And I'm going to add just a couple of drops of glue. I'll put one there, one right there, and then we'll put one right up here. All right, and then instead of using my take your pick tool, because I find that my little embellishments don't want to come off of it that easily when I try to put it in the glue. So I have one of these, oh, I don't know the technical name of it, but it's basically the same thing. It's a jewel picker where those that do nails and put like gems on nails, they'll use this. I use this for diamond painting. It's got a replaceable wax tip to it. And so I find that when it comes to my embellishments, I can pick them up and then I can place them right down in the glue and it doesn't stick to it. It comes off and sticks in the glue and stays put. All right, so we're going to add 3 of these white hearts. Just kind of stick them in the glue. Where'd you go? Right there. Okay. Let's dump these all back. And then there is our first card. So our first one is Valentine's themed. Really love that pop of that bright red and that pink. So there's our first card there. And now our second one is going to be for St. Patrick's Day. Not much was it, almost a month after Valentine's Day, maybe just what, a couple of days more. So for my card base, this is Granny Apple Green, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. I then have a piece of the Regals 6x6 designer series paper, so it has the same patterns as the other one. The only difference is it's in the color, it's garden green in the Regals pack. So this measures 5.5 by 2.5. I have a scrap piece of basic white. Out of this, I also die cut this stylish shaped circle. And then I have a scrap piece of gold foil. That's going to be the topper to our jar for this one. So I'm going to take my card base, fold and burnish this. Okay. Then I'm going to take my designer series paper and my liquid glue. And we'll add some glue to this. Okay, add a little bit up the side. And then we're going to place this right about here. Just line it up from the top and bottom. And some glue came out. Once that dries, I can take my adhesive eraser and I can remove that. Okay, so we have that. Get whatever adhesive is on my fingers. Okay, so then I'm going to take my Pierce mat. Excuse me. And I'm going to stamp my jar in black. And then I also have garden green and granny apple green inks. So I'll do my jar in black. And I will stamp that right here. And let's see, we're going to take our sending a little your way, and we're going to stamp this up towards the top of our die cut circle here. I want to have space underneath because I'm going to stamp something under there. And then I'm going to need the stamp that says luck. Going to need that one. And then there's also a little shamrock as well. So I'll put those on blocks. Okay, so then I'm going to stamp luck in my garden green ink. And we're going to put that right there. And then I'm going to take my granny apple green and I'm going to stamp my shamrock right underneath that like so. So really cute little greeting piece. And then I'm going to bring in my jar and I want my stamp with the shamrocks on it. Let's see, is this block big enough? Yep. And I'm going to stamp this in Garden Green. Okay, again, kind of lining up on the bottom of the jar, like so. And then that same filler piece that I used with the hearts is going to work with the shamrocks too. So I'm going to ink that up in my Granny Apple green ink. And I'm going to fill that in. So you can easily line up those top parts of the shamrocks with the top of the stamp. So that fills that in nicely. And then my little shamrock here, I'm going to clean this really quick. And I am going to stamp 2 of these in my jar. So we'll do one right there. And then we'll turn it. And we'll put one right there. So kind of fill in our jar a little bit. Okay, so that's all the stamping that we're going to do on this one. Okay, let me get my punch. And we'll punch our jar out. Get this lined up. Okay. Don't need that, and we don't need that. Let's get our scrap piece of gold. And we're going to line that up like so. Punch that out. Okay, we'll close that up. And then let's bring in our silicone craft sheet again. Let me clean these stamps because they're starting to touch things. That's when you know they're all clean, when they all are squeaking. Okay, so all the stamps are clean. All right, now we're going to do the same thing with this jar. We're going to add a little bit of glue up at the top. And then we're going to add our gold topper. Okay, make sure that's kind of straight. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of press that down. And then I'm going to take dimensionals. So let me get, I think I got another sheet in here. Ooh, okay, I got my little ones. Well, no. Let's do this. Let's get our scissors. And we are going to, actually, I got some here. So those edge pieces, this is where they come in handy. So we're going to use all of our dimensionals. And turn that a little bit. Okay, there's our dimensionals for our jar, and then we're going to add some to the back of this circle. Okay, and one there, and one there. Okay, so let's bring in our card. And my little jar is going to go right over here. And then my greeting piece. We're going to place this right up. Make sure this is straight. Okay, and then for my embellishments on this one, I'm going to bring in, these are the loose gold sequins. They come in, there's 3 different sizes, a 4, 5, and 6 millimeter in size. And these sequins don't have any of those holes in the middle. So I'm going to put a few in my lid. And we'll get my glue. And I'm going to add a couple of drops. One there. Another one over here. Okay. Let's get my jewel picker here. And I'm going to turn these because some of them are upside down. And we'll just put this one here. Let's get another large one. Place this one up here. And let's see, a medium one here. This small one there. And let's see, another small one over here. And then a medium one right here. Whoops, and we got one more we got to put down. Let's see, another like medium one right there. Okay. So there is our second card. So a lot of green and a lot of gold. So this is our St. Patrick's Day card, and then here is our Valentine. So again, it's basically the same greeting, sending a little with a space your way, and then there's a stamp that says love, one that says luck. So I really like the design of that stamp. So you can use it with multiple greetings that are in the stamp set. So again, this is the Sweet Jar bundle. The Sweet Jar stamp set is currently retired now. It is gone and sold out. But the jar punch, that is still available. The jar punch is not currently on the last chance list, so it is still available. If you like the projects that I had made in this episode, please give the video a thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel and hit that little notification bell. It'll let you know when I have posted a new video and also when I go live. Uh, there's lots of video content here on the channel. I have my Throwback Thursdays. I have a monthly Christmas card inspiration. Monthly, I do my paper pumpkin kit, which that has now shipped. So once I get that, I will be doing an unboxing and creating one of each of the projects in that. Tomorrow I will be going live. It is my Friday night live. I'll be going live at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and tomorrow night I will be using the Hobby Haven suite of products. It is in the online exclusives. So I hope that you can join us. We have a lot of fun, a bunch of lovely ladies that join me. So hope that you, if you have nothing going on, you will stop by and join us. So until then, everybody, wherever you may be, stay warm, stay cool, stay safe, and everyone have a blessed one. Bye bye.